Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. We are now in the Wizard subclasses,
Home stretch.
which are the arcane traditions, and we're today doing the School of Conjuration. We're going to go through all of the abilities and then determine how much they improve on the base class with the RP value, the combat value, and the overall class synergy. And if you guys are new to the channel, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us a ton. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers, and we will be doing a giveaway soon once we hit that 1,000 subscribers. So stay tuned to see what that giveaway is. So without any further ado, we're just going to go right into the subclass.
Right. As with all of the rest of these, all the wizard subclasses are not just a thematic-based thing. They are based on a specific school of magic. This one being the School of Conjuration. We thought we'd go ahead and read the little clips that these give, because kind of like the Oath of the Paladin, these give a better little description of what the explanation of the School of Magic is really about. So, as a conjurer, you favor spells that produce objects and creatures out of thin air. You can conjure billowing clouds of killing fog or summon creatures from elsewhere to fight on your behalf. As your mastery grows, you learn spells of transportation and can teleport yourself across vast distances, even to other planes of existence in an instant. So this becomes a kind of a quirky. You start off kind of like a quirky circus magician and turn into like this crazy
Planeswalker.
planeswalker. That's funny, but like sporadic planeswalker. But yeah, as with all the rest of the arcane traditions, you get a fill-in-the-blank savant, so conjuration savant. So starting at second level as well, when you pick this up, anytime you want to copy a conjuration spell into your spellbook as a wizard, the gold and the time it takes to copy said spell is reduced by half. Simple as that.
Also at level 2, you get minor conjuration. You basically can use an action to conjure up an inanimate object in your hand or on the ground in non-occupied space within 10 feet of you. The object has to be small, no larger than 3 feet, and weigh no more than 10 pounds. But it is an actual object. But it must also be a non-magical object that you have already seen before.
Right. You can be making up things.
And it says the object is visibly magical, radiating dim light out to 5 feet. Oh, and it also disappears after 1 hour when you use the feature again, or if you deal damage with it. So if you were to make a sword or dagger or something for whatever reason, and as soon as that thing deals damage, it's gone. It just vanishes out of existence. So you just make a little something for yourself or your buddy.
Level 6, you get benign transportation. So you can use your action just to teleport 30 feet. So essentially it's a free misty step. Just takes your action to do so. Also, you can choose a space within range, occupied by a small creature or medium creature, and you can swap places with it. So you get once per long rest or until you cast a conjuration spell. So every time you cast any kind of conjuration spell, you can choose to just zip around the battlefield. So it gives you the opportunity to be mobile, which does help with some survivability. Will get you out of trouble. If you're afraid of getting opportunity attacks as you're in close, just pop out of there real quick. Simple, but effective at times for sure.
At level 10, you get focused conjuration. While you're concentrating on a conjuration spell, specifically conjuration, your concentration cannot be broken as a result of taking damage. So if someone hits you when you're concentrating on a conjuration spell, you don't have to make a concentration check because you can't break concentration if it is a conjuration spell. Lastly, at level 14, we have durable summons. Basically, any creature that you summon gains 30 temporary hit points. So,
once again, simple but effective, yeah.
That being said, we'll move on to the ratings portion. First up, we have the roleplay value. This subclass is very interesting in the fact that the theme is very cool, but it's very limited by the access to conjuration spells that wizards have. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we are only going to give this subclass a 2 out of 5 for the RP value, mainly because of the minor conjuration ability and partially the focused conjuration, depending on what kind of spells you're using for conjuration. If for whatever reason you need to conjure an elemental or something like that, minor elemental, regular elemental, for an RP purpose, whatever that may be.
As we've said before, that all of these videos, anything can be made into RP. A good RP player can make anything RP based, but just on a base, no other factors and variables in play there. there's limitations here on the RP side.
Yeah, and again, the wizard, with the access to conjuration spells that it has, because it says, if you're not as familiar with wizards, it says that when you're copying a spell into the spell book, it has to be a wizard spell. So if you get some if you get one of these druid spells that's a conjuration, that druid has, I feel like, better conjuration spells than wizards do, because of their fey animals and all that
And call
stuff
lightning.
that they can make, and call lightning and everything.
Yeah. Love that spell.
That would be very good
Yeah.
if you had this as a wizard, but unfortunately call lightning is not on the wizard spell list.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not on the wizard spell list, you're kind of in trouble there. So again, 2 out of 5, unfortunately.
On the combat side of things don't get a whole lot better. We gave it a 3 out of 5 flumps. 3. The focus conjuration by itself could have given it like a 4.5 or a 5 if it was all wizard spells. Like any spells you can, any wizard
If it was
spell,
all wizard spells, that would be super good.
by itself would be for sure a 4 or higher just because of that. But specifically, it's only conjuration spells. We looked at the entire list. My phone is still sitting here, so we were digging through the list of all the conjure elementals. Toward the end game, you get access to arcane gate and then gate at level 9 are conjuration spells. Be able to hold concentration. Flaming spheres there, web. There's a few other ones there, but there's not enough of those that really make that as good as it has the potential to be if it allows you to use other
The
spells.
teleport is cool, and it's actually pretty good. But again, you're very limited by the conjuration spells you have access to. But it feels kind of bad to be casting level 1 spell, level 2 spell every turn, when you could be casting as a wizard much higher level spells.
Right. And the durable summons, giving the elemental you bring in, 30 health is good and definitely helpful. But once again, it becomes like how many, you're familiar, technically, you're conjuring it. And so it's going to be harder for your familiar to get just killed in combat, because your familiar can actually can apply touch spells for you in combat.
Yeah,
and
do some wonky stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't have your cat or your dog familiar if it gets kicked by or hit by a guard, he would just instantly die.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But there's once again, it's the lack of use that this gives you, the lack of help it gives you to keep the scores lower.
Yeah.
Both from spell selection being probably the weakest part there.
Yeah, and the big thing too is in the combat side, because of durable summons, if you're not summoning a creature, you basically just don't have a level 14 ability.
Right.
Which is pretty rough.
Yep.
So it kind of is almost pushing you to use Conjure Elemental or Conjure Minor Elemental.
Yeah.
Because then you actually get a little bit more use out of this, and those are both concentration spells for an hour.
Yeah.
So it's kind of really, I feel like it's almost forcing you to try to take those, to make those last 2 abilities worthwhile.
Pigeonholing.
Yeah, because there's just, Cloud Kill, I believe, right, is the concentration, but it's a level 4 spell, so it's just kind of awkward to be casting regularly, and it's not gonna, you cast, most of your conjuration spells are higher, 4 or 5, or 4 or higher spells, so you're not gonna be casting them every turn to trigger your transposition teleport, so, unfortunate. And lastly, we have the overall class synergy. Again, with the wizard base class, there's not really a whole lot to work with, because arcane recovery is basically you're just getting spell slots back regardless. It's up to you how you do that. And then arcane tradition, ability score improvements, just not much there to synergize with. So the big things are spell mastery and signature spells. So spell mastery level 18, you can pick a 1st and 2nd level spell as to be able to cast at will. And being a conjuration wizard, you would probably want to pick one of those to be cast at will, so you can trigger your transposition and get teleport more often. So best options for that are probably going to be web, flaming sphere. Those are probably your best options. Maybe grease, kind of awkward.
It'd be kind of weird to take that as a spell mastery spell.
Flaming
Flaming sphere, I could probably your best argument there. Maybe web if you really want the CC for it,
but not the best options there to synergize with conjuration. So we're trying to get, again, the reason we're looking at this is because conjuration spells that are cast at will trigger your abilities in this subclass.
That free teleport. We're trying to find ways you can trigger that together.
Good spells to trigger, makes it a lot harder to justify the synergy of taking those things. And the signature spells, 3rd level, 2 3rd level spells you can cast once a day without using a spell slot. Again, not very good conjuration spells. options. Again, because most of them that are good are 5th level or higher.
I'm gonna cheat again and look, because there was it was Sleet Storm does no damage, but it's a big area of effective crowd control, and then
again,
Stinking Clouds AOE damage there, but nothing that's just.
And we're looking
super
just in the
impressive.
player's handbook for purposes here because we're
Right.
looking at subclasses in this. So, in the future or in other books that may come out or may already come out, we're just, for consistency, looking at the subclass as it pertains to this book.
Yes.
So with that being said, we only had the ability to give it a 3 out of 5 just because, again, it's very limited by the amount of spells available to Wizard in the Conjuration School.
Yep.
So, not the most impressive subclass, is a really cool and interesting theme,
Yes.
but we do feel like it's kind of pigeonholing you into almost forcing you to take Conjure Elemental because
your level
that's
14
the biggest
ability.
synergy.
That's what's gonna help.
Yeah, and your concentration not being interrupted. It's an hour concentration spell. It's probably your best use of it. So, just not the best overall, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But again, play what you want to play to have fun. If this sounds cool to you, play it. Don't let our ratings
Yeah.
deter you from playing what you think sounds cool.
Yes.
And maybe your DM will be nice and let you use spells outside of the Wizard spellbook just because.
Like Druid.
If they're nice. If you guys aren't like super by the book, that'd be cool.
Yes.
Definitely make this class way better, especially if you get a Cold Lightning. Holy crap, that'd be amazing.
Yes.
Probably broken.
Yeah.
But with that being said, guys, that's pretty much our thoughts on the School of Conjuration Arcane Tradition for the Wizard.
Yes.
And if you guys are enjoying our videos in the Subclass series, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications so all our new videos come out. We have a lot more ideas for other mini-series to do, so just keep your eye out on that. And we will be doing a giveaway soon when we hit 1,000 subscribers. We're going to be planning on giving away the Eberron book coming out in November. So keep posted. If you want to be entered into that, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be looking for the comments and the subscriptions based on those two things.
Gotta be a subscriber and you gotta leave a comment.
Yes. As always, guys, thanks for watching.